I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 million every week. I wanna be a billionaire. I ain't getting no sleep till I see $1 billion every week. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire. Billionaire.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas. Now today, I got a very, very, very special guest on my show. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. This woman is not only an actress on Orange is the New Black, the final season, not only on the up-and-coming season of The Purge, she's also from New York, like me, and una Dominicana, just like your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Marianly Tejada.
Hi.
How you doing, love?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming through. I know it's been a while. We was, trying to get it right, but we finally got the schedule.
Yeah.
It's on God's time.
That's it. Oh my God. We can close this out, and that's he just said everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That encompasses whatever we may talk about.
Yeah. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good to hear
Running
that.
around a little bit, but
yeah.
good.
Yeah. You had an audition today. Went well.
Yeah,
right?
them self-tapes and things like that. You gotta get them done.
Oh yeah, man. A lot of people don't know this process when they just want to be an actor. They see it from the outside looking in, but they don't know you really got to do the work.
You really gotta do the work.
Yeah.
And it's there's different parts to that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure we'll get to that.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely want to start from the beginning. People already know you from New York, but where exactly in New York are you from?
Well, I was born in New York.
Okay.
But I grew up in the DR. So I actually grew up in the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Heights, like my family, was
Washington Heights.
In the Heights.
Yeah.
When
I
she
was just
younger.
there last week.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
How is it?
It was still Dominican island. It's
Yeah.
like DR.
Oh my God, I miss the food so much.
Yeah.
I really do.
Mm-hmm.
We need to bring some Dominican food to LA. That's all we need to do.
I know. All they need is salchichon, but they don't sell it out here.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think I have a business idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So I actually grew up in the DR. So New York was like my second home because I would always travel to it, but I never lived in New York until I was 18 for the first time. I did live in Cincinnati, Ohio when I was 10 for a year because this was my mom's strategy. It's all my mom's, master mind plan.
Mm-hmm.
We were born in the U.S., but because we grew up in the DR, we didn't speak English.
Mm.
So she had the idea of bringing all the kids, I'm the youngest of 5, to the U.S. at some point to go to school so that we could, pick up the language.
Yeah.
And when you're 10 years old, like I was when I went to Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up right away, and then I went back home. I finished high school, and then when I got done with high school, I knew that I wanted to go to college in the U.S.
Mm.
So I went back to Cincinnati area, which it was actually on the Kentucky side, it's Florence, Kentucky. That's
okay, I'm familiar.
Middle of nowhere.
Not familiar. My girl's actually from there.
No
we was just there last week also. We went there
That's
first,
so
then New
random.
York.
Cincinnati?
Mm-hmm. We went to Cincinnati first, then New York.
Yeah, so I was there for a little bit, and I actually took my first theater class while I was doing my basics for architecture.
Mm.
And I always knew I wanted to be an actor, but that was never something that was encouraged because it's not a career back home,
Yeah.
People, it's starting, there's an industry now and there's movies being done in theater, but at that time it's not, I didn't know anyone who was an actor close to me, so I didn't know it was a possibility.
Right.
So when I came to the U.S., graduated high school, that's when I started to see the possibility, but I still wanted to do something that would please my parents and just something that was safe and secure.
Right.
But it doesn't matter what you do, you have to put in hard work,
That's a fact.
And then that bug was in me since that moment, and then the possibility of doing it. And then I remember I moved to New York when I was 18 for the first time because I had some modeling opportunities actually.
Okay.
And that sort of was the way in for me to the industry.
Through modeling.
Yeah, through modeling. I ended up going back to DR for a summer.
Okay.
And that ended up being 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because I started getting TV and then film offers for
Out
work
there.
and things like that out there. So that's where I got my first practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for real. So I'm going to go to acting school. I'm going to pack my bags, go to New York. And my parents were like, no. I mean, they weren't like, no, but they were like, what are you doing with your life?
So that's where you got your debut was in DR? Because there was a film I saw in your bio.
Yeah.
That was the one in DR?
That was the one.
What was it
my
called?
first film. Who's the Boss?
Who's the
which
Boss?
In Spanish is Quien Manda.
Right.
That was the name of the movie. And that was my first time on a screen and like my first time like professional, like getting paid to act and things like that.
How did it feel? Like just being on set and
dude, it just felt like I was home. It's so weird. I think I didn't know sort of the bigness and the hard work you had to put behind it at that point.
Right.
I was seeing it around me, but I just was so happy to get to do what I always wanted to do since I was a kid. And you know, a film set is just it's a team of people who are rooting for you, so it just feels like home in a way. So then I went to New York and I did an acting conservatory for 2 years. They train you in theater mostly. And then I fell in love with the theater, which is one of my greatest loves creatively at this moment.
That's what's up, man. I never stepped into theater. I mean, I performed on stage as a musician, but never as an actor. So I still haven't stepped in there. I'm more like TV and film.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you took that leap of faith and doing your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and that's a good way to phrase it because it is a leap of faith. Like, you don't know the outcome of what it, you know, will be, but you just trust that whatever's in your heart will carry you through. And I feel like God honors that when sorry.
Okay.
So rude of me.
It's all right.
And I feel like God honors that when and now I'm just dropping my glasses. This is live, people.
It's
so
right.
yeah,
It's
bear with us.
acting like you really want to do this now.
Improv. So I feel like when you take those decisions, those big decisions in life that are not so easy for you to take sometimes, God honors that, and then, you know, the universe conspires too. But it does take a lot of work, you know.
Right.
I had this idea that when I went to acting school, by the time I graduated, I was going to have an agent and like everything was going to be perfect. I was going to be discovered or something. And that was not the case. I had to knock on a lot of doors. And
What's the best way to make God laugh?
The best way to make a God laugh?
Tell him your plan.
Oh, tell him your plan. That's good. Yep. Man, that's good. But it's just the more that you have to work for it, the more experience you'll be when you get to have the opportunities that you want. And it takes that much value when you have to work for it. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And you appreciate it more once you get there. You know, you know the work you put in, and now you know your worth at that point because you know the sacrifices you made, the struggles you've been through, and the success you've achieved along the way, whether small or big.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what's up. So now that you've, you know, achieved some success, you know, how do your parents feel now, you know, because they wanted you to do the, you know, get the backup plan, go to school. I had the same talk with my mother. She's still like, here you go, you should go get a financing course. I'm like, man, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how do they feel about your success now?
I mean, even before I got my first professional gigs in the U.S., they'd already, just to see me work hard while I was in school and like, I was going to school, but I had to work to pay rent in New York because we all know it's pricey. So just them seeing how really determined I was about it, that they just became my biggest fans, and they've always been there since I made the decision. So I guess they just didn't want me to do something reckless with my life, but then they saw that this is really what I want to do. And they understood it, and they can see it, you know, and even if this is, because I feel like this is, my career's just beginning now. Whenever I feel down and whenever I'm like, dude, this is like, because you go through different phases, you know, like you once you have representation and you start working, then there's other things, and they're the ones that keep me grounded and keep me like, you know,
sane,
focused, and then like with the eyes on the prize.
Right.
Really.
As you should, man. You gotta focus on the ultimate goal. I mean, you already did the hard part. You came to LA. You took the leap of faith. That's like the hardest part. That was the scariest thing to me. You know, I moved to Tampa in 2002 when the Twin Towers fell. I moved to Tampa, Florida, and ever since I got to Tampa, I was like, yo, I gotta make it to California. It didn't take until year 12 that I got the chance to come to California. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, I had to build a life for myself. I had to work sales jobs for 10 years. You know, I had to do construction for a few years and stack up some money, this, that, and the third. And then finally decide, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to be when I get out there. And then took that leap of faith. So you taking this leap of faith to come here, what was the scariest part of that for you?
Of deciding to pursue acting for real or coming to LA?
Well, I say coming to LA because you decided to be an actress before you got to LA, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I was lucky enough to have, like, the Orange is the New Black I had filmed already when I decided to come here. Like, that was all after that opportunity. And honestly, coming to LA, I still feel like New York is my home. So I'm still exploring. I'm in the honeymoon phase of LA because I've been here for less than 3 months.
Oh, you were fresh.
I just got here.
Oh, man.
But just, it didn't feel, it was a very instinctive decision because I was doing great in New York, and things were going amazing. I had it not only professionally, but like I had my friends there, like a good community and things like that. And I just felt like, I want to go check out the West Coast and see what it's about. And then the rest will follow up.
That's a fact. How do you feel now that you're here?
I feel great.
Yeah.
I mean, coming
Was
from
it
the
the best
DR,
decision
from
you
the
made?
island, I think it was. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, to be like honest with you, I don't know if I see myself here on the long run. If I'm gonna go back to New York, it's just work is gonna dictate where I spend most of my time. So I try to keep like as little bags as possible wherever I go. So when I have to move, I'm ready.
Right, yeah. Now, I mean, yeah, now that sounds like it was a bit scary. Like, even if I was in your shoes, just like you got everything set in New York, things are working on the acting tip, I wouldn't understand, like, why leave to kind of start all over in the field that's working for you here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you make that decision?
I think it was the fact that I'm lucky and blessed enough to have a good team of people who are bi-coastal. So I feel like hadn't, they been in my life, I wouldn't have made the decision because I know how important it is to have people who are pushing for you when you're new in this industry, So I feel like that gave me the security to be like, okay, I'm going to go see LA. So I think that the biggest challenge when I decided to be an actor was just to leave all that you think is like secure and comfortable to you, like,
listen,
and just, a comfortable life to go hustle in New York, have a waitressing job. Like, I've been a nanny, I've been a waitress, I've been a barista. Like, I've just done all the side hustles that you have to do in order to
succeed at your dream.
Yeah, succeed at your dream, because you want to do things. Something that I always kept in mind and that I always tell people who want to pursue an artistic career is, even when you have a side hustle, make sure that it's a flexible one, because most of your time and your energy should be towards your goals creatively. You have to sacrifice sometimes going out or having nice clothes and things like that. Like, take care of your bills and everything that you need, but make sure that most of your time is invested in that, because that's what's gonna bring the fruit of your labor. You have to plant the seeds, and that takes time. Like, you have to go to like in New York, I did a lot of small plays and things like that. You have to be able to go to your rehearsals. You have to be able to like make the readings. And ever since I decided to be an actor, I never made an excuse, or a job was never a reason to not make it to an audition, even if it was like the smallest audition for the smallest thing. Like, it's just been my priority. So, that's something that I've always kept as a main focus. And what was I saying? Like, I got lost.
No. Well, that's good though, because you were still leading into where you was going. But more. I like what you were saying in regards to taking the time to pay attention to your dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with me, when I was working the 9 to 5s for 10 years, my how do you say, my job was full-time, but my dreams were part-time, and that kind of killed me, but I still kept it alive. So I still paid attention to it. I still took the time out to go perform, pass out CDs, pass out shirts, whatever I had to do. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. And what people sometimes I speak with, like, I had a conversation with a guy yesterday. He was telling me, like, he's working this trucking job and he has all these grand goals for himself, but he's like blaming God, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I'm a good man. I'm working this 9 to 5, saving my money, but why isn't my dreams coming true? I'm like, and I told him, I'm like, well, what are you doing to make your dreams come true? He's like, oh, I'm working my 9 to 5, saving my money, this, that, and the third. And I was like, okay, well, that's part of the process. You got to trust the process. Like, every overnight success was a 10 to 20 year process.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to realize, that, you know, when they say put the time in, you got to realize that time is like, it can be 20 years, and you really got to sacrifice that amount of time.
Exactly, because you don't know. You don't know when things are going to start taking off. But something that you said that's very important is, like, you got to start somewhere. And this is how I see it. You have to give God something to bless. I heard that somewhere. You can't put all the weight on God, because he gave you the power to create the life that you want for yourself. Right. And if you want him to bless something, you have to give him even whatever, like sending your resume to something, like, but send it, and then he will bless your actions. You know what I mean? Like, he will follow through. But you can't sort of sit at home and expect for things to happen because you have good intentions and good feelings. You have to take action. And I know it's easier said than done. I really know that. And it's a tricky position, but I just want to, like, if there's something that I can let people know, it's like, you have, like, you're worthy. If you have the dream in your heart, it's already evidence that it could happen. Right. You know? There's a reason why you have desires in your heart. And
that's a bar. That's bars right there. She's dropping jewels on you. I better listen.
Yeah. And if you already have it there, you know, honor it. And we get this life, you know, we don't know if we get other lives after this one. So time is the most valuable asset you have.
That's a fact, man. So now that you're, like, kind of in this dream, you know, career full time, you know, how do you properly prepare to, you know, succeed in it? You know, like, for example, I mean, you just came from a self-tape, so I'm sure you're killing it like that. But even preparing for a self-tape, like, what's your process, you know, to remember lines and execute it accordingly to land the roles?
Yeah. Learning lines, memorizing, you know, the memory is a muscle. So I feel like at this point, because I've been doing it consistently for a while, that's kind of like one of the easier parts of it. And if the writing is good, it's even easier for you to learn lines, because you're telling a story. So what I try to do is I don't try to, you know, I obviously honor the writing and try to get it as it is on the page, but you're telling a story. So just, like, thinking about it in that way, like, oh, I'm telling the story of the little kid that went and jumped on the pond or something, instead of just going for the words directly, but following the story. That helps me memorize really fast. Right. But the hardest thing is, I mean, honestly, for me, self-taping was so dreadful in the beginning, because I would see my tapes and I would be like, yo, this is bad.
You're your worst critic.
Yeah, so this is bad.
Like, I wouldn't hire me.
No. Yeah, but I would say, like, you gotta stay humble, and always, like, if you feel like there's something that you want to work on, and there's always something that you should want to make better as a performer and as an artist, just, like, reach out to people who are good teachers. Like, I'm not afraid to keep taking classes, because this is a craft that I love and that I want to grow in. So what I did was I got recommended to a teacher, and my self-tape skills just got better, just about technical things. Because, you know, there's technical things about film and about theater, and sometimes it's not that you don't have the talent, but you have to sharpen your talent. You know what I mean? You have to keep working at it till you know what you have and how to use your instrument. And that's something that I thought, like, oh, if I'm not good at self-tape, then I'm not good. I'm just going to do theater because I'm horrible at film. No, you work at things and you get better. And just having that mentality. And as soon as you get your scripts, like, try to get on it and memorize right away. Like, don't leave it for last minute, because, you know, that sometimes will play against you. And what else do I feel like? I don't know. I feel like we're so. No, I feel like there is a system to it, but it's, you know, it's happened gradually. I'm trying to think about, like, the hardest thing.
Well, speaking of the hardest thing, I would like to what I like to know, because you said you like mastering your craft. You know, you got recommended to a school, and your self-taping improved. So my question to you is, since you're your own worst critic, what do you feel has improved from when you was taking self-tapes before the class to after? Like, what jewel did you
And
capture?
this was just like, it wasn't even a school. It was just like a 4-day class with a teacher. But
Mm-hmm.
he had such an amazing technique to teach you. And it's just like getting rid of your bad habits. Film acting, like I said, is very technical. So for me, I had bad habits. Like I would blink too much, or I would do a lot of weird faces. And a camera is a magnifier of your expressions.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to kind of train your face and your body to know how to play for it. Because I came from the theater where you can allow yourself to be bigger and use everything that you have. The camera was a different animal. So I just had to adjust myself to that. And it was very like small tweaks and things like that, but they made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I have tools and just, I can be playful. Like the biggest difference was not, oh, now I'm good at it. It was simply, well, now I look forward to doing self-tapes because I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process. That was the biggest difference.
Well, that's a good thing. I definitely learned from, I watch me. I know I haven't took the classes yet. I'm not opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of learned from YouTube University.
Yeah.
I watch other people's self-tapes. That's
the best way to learn, watching other people's self-tapes.
Right, and plus I was one of those kids that was just like glued to the TV. So I always like idolized the greats. So I always and now that I'm in this acting world and I watch movies differently now, like I'm looking at, how the actors are moving, the slightest gesture, it could be like a hand raise or eyebrow raise, even to the cuts of the scene, because I do video as well. So it's like I'm studying the whole process, and to me that's school. Like even when I watch TV, I'm schooling myself just to apply it to what I want to make better about me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope that you took just from a 4-day class and it enhanced your skills to a level that
it's like
you're
you have something
with.
to work with now.
Right. Okay. So tell me, how much of you do you put into your acting? Or do you kind of like, how can I say this? How do you kind of like try to become the character that they've written, or do you like kind of try to be yourself and then add to the character they've written? If that makes sense.
It's a little bit of both for me. And it's nothing like mystical about it. It's just because what a character for me is just somebody might sound different than I sound, and they might wear the hair differently or different clothes. So I do think about all those things even when I'm auditioning, like especially when I'm auditioning, because that's what makes it fun for me. Like I think, how does this person sound? Like where do I place my voice for that? Like is it deeper? Is it a little bit high pitch, things like that. And then you sort of get the rhythm of the person in the writing as well. And then how does a person wear the hair, and what's a person wearing for work, or like what's the style? And that honestly will give, those little things will give you a character right away. Like you see, how you're walking down the street and you see a person and you kind of like, oh, this is that type of person. Like, oh, there's a rocker, or like, things like that.
Kind of judging by that cover.
Exactly. Yeah. So I try to do that with the characters, and then I just let whatever those physical things evoke in me, I just let them come out and try not to touch that too much, because you want to be truthful and also trust that what I have is unique and it's enough.
Right. Okay. So, give me your top 5 favorite actors.
Ooh, I like this question because I've been thinking about it. Because before it's like Javier Bardem.
Okay.
He's just legendary. Penelope Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Marion Cotillard, French actress.
Mm-hmm.
Cate Blanchett. She's like the ideal actor for me because she fluctuates from theater and film.
Mm-hmm.
Like she does both in the same amount of like the same amount. Like she does a lot of theater, she does a lot of film, and I don't know how she does it. Which is something that I want to do. And I mean, Meryl's just like amazing. And for like newcomers, I am obsessed with Timothée Chalamet.
Okay.
He is so talented. I'm like, yeah. Have you seen Call Me by Your Name?
No.
Oh my god, you have to watch.
Is that on Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix. You might be able to like rent it or something online. I'm pretty sure on
Okay.
one of the platforms. But
All right,
it's
I'll wait till it's
so
on
good.
Netflix.
Yeah.
No,
It might not get there. You know,
no, I'll
like
check
those
it out. Call
politics-
me by my name.
Call me by your name.
Actually, you know what? I do remember seeing that title. I think I saw it on Netflix, but I'll double check. But I'll look for it.
Yeah,
I'll look for it.
yeah. I mean, yeah. But yeah, Timothy Chalamet, I love. He's young, talented.
That's what's up. If there was any career you would want to not emulate, but more so, I guess have, this success wise, with the accolades that they built as an actress, who would it be?
I think Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I think Cate Blanchett. But the only thing that like doesn't allow me to say that fully, I guess, is that I know that her path and my path extremely different because I'm an actor of color. I'm Latina.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I love that she prioritizes both theater and film.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're both very time consuming, especially theater. You rehearse for like 4 or 5 weeks and then you have performances for a couple months. And she seems to be doing both successfully. Like she has her own theater company and things like that. So she would be the one that I'm like, if I could choose a career and be it like someone, would be hers.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 5-year goal for you?
5-year goal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that question I don't like that much.
Why?
Because I feel like you just don't have that much control. I just want to.
You could plan properly and then execute accordingly.
I mean, something that starts happening when you're like mid-20s is just the thought of family. So that's something that's been on my mind, but that's something that'll happen when it needs to happen,
So you want a family, like a husband, a kid?
I would have had a kid yesterday if I could. Like I would have had a kid already. But
don't rush.
I won't. That's why I probably don't have one. And yeah, but that's something that will come, but hopefully in the next 5 years, my next interview in 5 years here, maybe I'll have a little kid.
Is there a significant other in your life?
No.
No?
No.
Well, you got to start with that first.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you can't plan out, and it'll happen when it needs to happen.
Do you find it difficult to be in a relationship and in this business at the same time? If with someone who's, let's say for example, your future significant other wasn't in the business, do you think that would be difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. I think there's good things to both. Like if he's in the industry, he will understand me more from that perspective. But if he's not, then we have, 2 different worlds to learn from each other. And sometimes, that has a positive impact. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Okay. So the 5-year goal, you definitely want to have a family, involve significant other
God
children.
willing, if that's in the plans. But if not, it'll happen when it needs to happen. And just keep doing what I'm doing now, which is like trying to do, the best that I can and taking advantage of the opportunities that are being offered.
Gotcha. Do you see yourself, stepping behind the camera? I
do.
And
I don't know in which form yet. I think directing. I think I have the fire in me to direct.
That's that Dominican in you, baby.
Yeah,
we hard workers, man.
Yes. I would love to direct at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very conscious of the power that you have as a producer as well, because you can have a say more on the stories that you want to share. So maybe that'll be in the cards as well. Yeah,
I definitely took the writing aspect of things, started writing a script myself. So yeah. Yes. It's hard though, man. I'm on page 100, but that shit took like a year.
That's it, but that's a good amount.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes it does take a while. But
and I had to send it to different producers to help me like revise it and kind of get it right. And, watch other films to kind of like get some ideas from here to incorporate it to my specific story. Get some water if you want some.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's like sometimes I interview people and they'll be like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "Yo, listen, 20 minutes in,
drink your
you're
water.
Gonna be choking.
Your mouth's gonna be dry."
Yeah, so but I'm glad I got that for you. But no, that's good that you at least got that window open. That I might want to do this, not right now, but you're not closing it off, so want to be a director. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. So what's your favorite Dominican dish?
Plátano maduro. In any form, fried or boiled. But like a proper dish.
Like mango?
I feel like it's locrio de pollo.
Mm.
Just like locrio de pollo with like fried sweet plantains and like a good salad of cabbage, like repollo. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna. Hopefully, I'll get to go home soon.
Damn, you eating like that? Where the hell does it go? Shit, I think about food. I gain like 5 pounds.
Genetics. I try to work out, and just keep strong and healthy, and makes me feel good. But it's just genetics. Like my dad used to be like stick skinny when he was my age too, and yeah.
Do you cook?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Oh,
I had to learn in New York.
Hell yeah.
You gotta save the bucks because like eating out is a lot.
Yeah, it's expensive, man.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, shit. I mean, it sounds like your future boyfriend, got a lot in store for him. You could cook, you could act.
He better cook for me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you don't cook, no, we can't date.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, I wish you much success, man. I hope everything works out. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in the up and coming season of The Purge and all the films you got coming up. And hopefully we could do some work together. I mean, we did today, which is great.
Yes.
Thank
you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let the people know where they can follow you and check up on you.
So I'm on Instagram, Marianly Tejada, and I'm on Twitter, Marianly Tejada as well. So you guys can keep up through social media.
There it is. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sleep is for Billionaires, the podcast. I am your host, Johnny Vegas. Say it one more time.
Marianly Tejada.
There it is. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Thanks
Thank you
for having
doing
me.
this. You definitely contributed to my dream today. And you don't really know me like that, but I appreciate you for coming through today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No doubt, man. From one Dominican to another.
Yes,
I love it.
Representing.
Stay tuned for more episodes to come. Thank you for watching. Bye.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking
that was
about.
fun. And